So in the last video, I challenged myself to make a Doom sounding track with just some free plugins, instruments, and you guys seem to like that video. So I'm going to do a continuation on that sort of video series here. So I've got the track here and I'm just adding to it, and I'm doing some extra plugins that you probably haven't seen yet in the last video and some different techniques. If you didn't watch the first video, it should be up in the cards up here if you want to check it out. Take a quick listen to the track here first of what I created. All right, so that was the track there, and as you can see, continue it on from this last one that we made here. We'll start off with the start of the song. So this first bar here at the start, you can see I've got some printed audio, which this is a print down of some plugins that I fed through here. You can see these are the ones that I've kind of printed, and I just kind of ran it through multiple stages of like printing it, but it ended up making this effect. So what it is, it's a combination of this section here with these three instruments. At the top, we've got this Foundations plugin, and it's the Emotive Choir. This is a really good plugin, and it's by Heavyocity. It's free. You get a bunch of different instruments for free from them. And I'm also using it in the Contact Player with this chord builder. And this is a cool free tool. It comes with the Contact Player. That's pretty new. And you can choose different chords and stuff like that. So I chose a dominant 7 add flat 13. It's one of those things, music theory obviously can help, but this sort of style of song, it's very chromatic. So I just went with, something that's pretty dissonant and kind of eerie sounding. At the end of the day, they're just sounds that you like. So you can just scroll through, find whatever you like. And if it works, it works. Didn't really think too much about it. I just picked something and played on it and said, oh, there's some cool chords. So that sounds like this. So yeah, pretty cool. Sounds pretty good. And the chords are doing all the hard work for me for thinking. And I've got that layered with this other instrument track. The same thing, I'm using the chord builder with the same settings, and there's an arpeggiator with this one as well, so you can stack them. And this one's really cool. This is one I haven't used before. It's one of the free instruments you get from Native Instruments. I believe it's Japanese, maybe, instrument. I'm not sure what it is, but it sounded cool, and it's sounds like a stringed plucked thing. So on it sounds like this. So it's really cool, and I put it through another free, you get this as the Waves bundle, it's free. So just a guitar amp here. So I ran it through that, which sounds like this. And then obviously just a little bit of EQ. Obviously this isn't a free plugin, but you can use any EQ just to clean it up and shape it how you want, like roll off the highs and lows if you want to give it like sort of a more filtered effect. Third one is this engine room, and you can see here that it's like got a few different presets, and it sounds like an engine basically of cars and engines. We take a listen. So a bunch of cool noises to play with. OTT just to give it some compression. Free plugin as well if you haven't used it. It's one of the best free plugins out there. So these three are laid together, and then that's where I created this sound here that you heard before. So then I reversed it. So I would have printed it here in the channel here, and then so you can hear it reverse, and then I would have dragged it up again, and then I added this RAM plugin. Now this plugin is really cool and you can do a lot of cool things with it. And what I did as well after I reversed it, and it's got this freeze button. What that does is it freezes the audio for a second. So I'll take a listen to the track here. So here it is. You can see it's reversed and we've got RAM here, and I'm just going to play with the freeze button. And that's what I did with this here. So I timed it when I was playing it back, and I printed it just as it kind of rised up to give it some energy. And then it moves into that next section. And obviously there's some volume automation here on the entire bus. So it's all sort of rising and lifting together. That's all for that intro part. Let's take a quick listen to all of those together. And you can see I just cut it off there because I'm transitioning into the next part. This next section is only 3 parts as well. So we've got this one here, a riser, and it looks like this one here, which is Nordic Winds. So we'll start here with the Nordic Winds one. So this is like an ambience layer. So another free contact, part of the free starter bundle thing you get here. And this is the free one you get. It's called Ethereal Earth. It's really cool. It's got a bunch of different sounds here. I've got the Nordic Winds one here, and that sounds like this on its own. Sounds really cool. It's like this whirling effect. Instead of creating an ambient sound yourself, you can just use something like that and it sounds really cool in the background. With also this, so Vital, I showed it in the last video. So here I showed you my preset that I made with the shepherd tone. I just messed around with it. So this is the thing with these presets, you can kind of just start there and just mess around with it. So I kept the shepherd's tone here on both of them, and these shapes, the pitch is the same, the filter's the same. And I believe I just messed around with the LFOs here. So these here, 1 and 2, 3, 4. So the third one here is the Foundations synth bass. This is really awesome. So free one again, obviously part of the pack of the Heavyocity pack here. And use this preset here, which is Grinding Gears Rhythm. Sounds like this. So if you wanted that cool pulsing cinematic bass effect, it's just right there for you to go. You don't have to do anything to it. I didn't even put anything on there. That's just it. There's no EQ or nothing. It's just that. Such a cool sound. You can see as well, I've got a lot of different tempo changes here. And I like to do that a lot. It just gives a lot of movement with the track. Just getting different tempo changes. Some riffs and some parts of songs sound better at different tempos, so it's always worth experimenting. So the next section, this is where the tempo changes to 150. So 3 things. We've got these 3 tracks here, which we'll go over. One other thing is I did a vocal thing, and this was from a different session that I was playing with using some paid plugins, but I freezed it and printed it down. So I can't show you the effects here unless I unfreeze it. Yeah, so that's got a lot of pitch effects, got distortion, I believe, and compressed and some reverb. The plugin I used that I don't know the exact one, the preset, but I did use this one here. So this is a paid plugin, but just one of these presets. I can't remember which one it was, but I just messed with a bunch of them. There's a pitch thing here that you can go down like that. So basically that's the main thing it's doing, and there's a bunch of reverb and stuff, but I added in there just for the effect. You can see there's a volume ramp, and so this is sort of the main core of the part. So this, what I was kind of going for was, as you can hear by the Doomslayer, I wanted you're entering the fight and you're about to maybe hit a final boss, maybe the end boss scene or something like that. Basically what's played on guitar. So the guitars are actually tracked. I tracked them all. They're not MIDI or anything. So the guitars are here. They're about to come in soon. We're leading up to that. So no guitars here. This is what this section is to kind of lead us into it. That's why we've got this ramp here with the volume, and just only 3 things here. This is basically what the guitar plays exactly, but it's just using synths. So basically the first one here, we've got Analog Dream. You get this with the Ethereal Earth and the other one I showed. And I've got this one at Backbiter preset using this plugin, which I showed in the last video. But I saw it on one of the Nail the Mix episodes and I just stole the settings. I found it within here. It's a preset somewhere in here. I don't know which one it is, but it's really cool. It's this distortion one. I know nothing about it, so it's all already set. I didn't change anything. So if you just go through the presets, you'll find, I renamed it to Doom Synth, but basically you'll find it in there if you just go through the browser and just look for the one that has these things in it. Using that free guitar amp again. So I've got the synth and it's going through this distortion, then going through more distortion because it's going through this guitar amp and cabinet. And then I've got the default Reaper pitch shift and I've just gone down 1 octave and it's blended in with the dry here, sort of a mix. And then just some EQ to give it like an effect here. So it's really cool. It kind of sounds like a guitar almost. Like you could probably get away with it using the Analog Dreams one, the Free Stab preset. And this one, just EQ, so no distortion or anything. Kato preset, which Analog Dreams again, and nothing else on that one. So it's just that. So you can see it's just, they're all layered together. And then now all of that in that whole part. This is the next section here. So obviously guitars, bass come in with the guitars. And this is pretty straightforward. There's actually nothing but just the core band. I want it to be like just the band, you know, just the music for a bit. So it plays that Vital Riser one I've got again. So we already heard this one here, which is just the same as before. So that's just repeating, bringing it back. But we're layering it this time with this plugin, which is Foundations, and it's the staccato strings. Like this library is really good. So if you just want like a good bass to build, this is what this one sounds like. Really not meant to be a focus, but just to kind of add some extra epicness to it and nothing else on that one. Then the Nordic Winds, we saw that one before. It's just laid in there. So we'll take a listen to both sections here. So the first guitar with nothing, and then when it comes in with the rest of the music. So this next section, same sort of deal almost. It's pretty minimal with the stuff here, but there's a few things. We've got this, the prime lead. So this is the Massive X that I showed in the last episode. So you can see it darts around this animation thing. I use this prime lead. I think I messed with this. Sometimes I mess with these and sometimes it's default. I can't remember what I did here, to be honest. And you hit this little dice too, which is cool. And that will give you a random effect. L1 is just a limiter. You can use any limiter. There's a built-in Reaper limiter, the Clipper, whatever you want to use. This is technically a paid plugin, but you can get it for free. And if you do try and get it for free, try it. It's very funny about the website. It's awesome. It's called Mishby by Freakshow Industries, and it's such a cool plugin. And I actually use this to make those chop effects. So a really cool plugin to mess with, make some really wacky sounds. So, and then I've got this motion plugin, Waves. This isn't a free plugin, but it's just something to use the panning. So you could pan it yourself, but I like this plugin just because it's easier. But in Reaper, you could just do the same thing, just pan, just automate the panning, but I didn't want to do that. So I'm just using that one. So that sounds like this. Not very exciting. It sounds like a mosquito almost, but it's like, you know, like a race car or something. Just for that little part there, just a little bit of extra sauce in that little part where the guitars stop for a second. And it also added this, which is a chop effect, which is a printed down version of that Mishby plugin that I was messing with the faders and the controls on, which created this. You can see here, this is the original sound. This is where it originated from. So it would have came from this, and I chopped it up into different pieces for all the different glitch effects throughout the rest of the song here. So this is what it sounds like. Let's see what I did with this. The reason that how I did that, I had this plugin here, and you can see I used this preset here. Yeah, the prime lead, the same lead thing, and the Mishby plugin here. And basically to do that, see how cool it is when you mess with this? It's like, goes from like, it's such a cool plugin. So what I did was, you can see this like lead part. So this is the MIDI that I was using. So basically I put that MIDI on that track here, and I'm sending it to another track to record, you know, different tracks, set up audio buses. And then you just right click here and you just record the stereo output basically. That's how I'm sort of doing these. And what I'll do is I play them back and I'll record. So I'll arm it and I'll press record, and basically. Okay, you probably get the point. You can mess with it with a bunch and yeah, record those sounds to it. And then you've got that to mess with. You can chop it up. You can see here, I've got a chop here, a chop there. So that's basically it for that section. So we'll take a listen. Such a nice, big, beastie synth bass there. So does all the hard work there for me. Got that deep bass laid with the glitch, and then we've got the Nordic winds, which we showed before, which is just the same layered, just repeating the use of it there. Then we move into some more guitar section, which is part of this section here. With this one, I actually stacked 4 guitars. I don't usually layer guitars this much, but it just had like a cool sound. So I stacked like 4 of the same guitars together. And that's really about it for that section. So you can do a lot with just like printing audio, messing with it, printing it, messing with it, and you know, just kind of going crazy with it. So that last section altogether sounds like this. So that's it. I'm going to play through the whole thing from last video so you can kind of see if it works together as a whole thing and see how far we've gotten with it so far. So we'll take a quick listen, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Thank you.